I'm Maya Torres, and I should have known Vivian would try something on my wedding day. My stepmom had spent the last 8 years making my life hell, ever since she married my dad when I was 16. But standing in the bridal suite of the Riverside Manor, surrounded by shredded silk and my grandmother's pearls scattered across the hardwood floor, I realized she'd finally gone too far. "Oops," Vivian said, still holding the scissors, her perfectly manicured nails gleaming. Her smile was cruel, satisfied. "I was just trying to help with alterations, and it slipped. Guess you'll have to postpone the wedding." My maid of honor, Jessica, gasped behind me. My bridesmaids stood frozen in their lavender dresses, mouths open in shock. The dress, my grandmother Elena's 1952 wedding gown, with its delicate lace sleeves and hand-sewn beadwork, lay in ruins. 8 months of careful restoration, destroyed in minutes. "Why?" I whispered, kneeling to touch a piece of the torn bodice. This wasn't just fabric. This was my connection to the grandmother who raised me until I was 10, who taught me to sew, who promised me this dress would be mine someday. Vivian adjusted her emerald bracelet, the one my dad bought her for their anniversary. "Honestly, Maya, it was so dated. So ethnic. I did you a favor. Now you can wear something modern, something that fits our family's image." Our family's image. Like I wasn't part of this family. Like my Mexican heritage was something to be ashamed of. "The ceremony starts in 4 hours, Jessica said, her voice shaking. "Every shop in town is closed. What are we going to do?" Vivian's smile widened. "Maybe it's a sign. David deserves better than a rushed wedding to some girl who can't even keep her dress safe." That's when something inside me snapped. Not the devastation I expected, but something colder. Calmer. Because Vivian had just made her biggest mistake. I pulled out my phone, opened Facebook Live, and hit record. "What are you doing?" Vivian asked, her confident mask slipping. "Showing everyone what really happened," I said, panning the camera across the destroyed dress, then focusing on her face. "This is my stepmom, Vivian Torres, and she just destroyed my grandmother's wedding dress 4 hours before my ceremony." Her face went white. "Turn that off. Turn it off right now." But I was already speaking to the camera. "Hey everyone, it's Maya. So, interesting development here at my wedding venue." I flipped the camera to show the shredded dress. This was my grandmother Elena's 1952 wedding gown. Family heirloom. Irreplaceable. And this morning, my stepmom took scissors to it. The comments started flooding in immediately. Shocked faces, angry emojis, messages of support. The viewer count climbed. 47 people, 89, 156. "Maya, please," Vivian hissed, lunging for the phone. But Jessica stepped between us. "Let her finish," Jessica said firmly. I turned the camera back to Vivian. She said it was too ethnic for our family's image. That I should postpone my wedding. That my fiancé deserves better. My voice stayed steady, matter of fact. Pretty interesting timing, don't you think? For hours before the ceremony, the viewer count hit 300. Then 500. Comments poured in faster than I could read them, but I caught fragments. "Call the police. Sue her. What a monster." Vivian's face was now completely pale except for 2 red spots on her cheeks. "You're being dramatic. It was an accident." "An accident?" I zoomed in on the scissors still in her hand. "You accidentally brought fabric scissors to a wedding venue? Accidentally cut in a perfect line through the bodice? Accidentally told me to postpone. Stop recording this instant," she shrieked, but her voice just made the comments explode even more. Jessica leaned over my shoulder. "Maya, you've got over 800 viewers now. Your dad's going to see this." Perfect. Dad needed to see who he'd married. I kept recording as I walked to the closet in the corner of the bridal suite. "You know what, Vivian? You're right about one thing. I am going to wear something different today." I opened the closet door and pulled out a garment bag. Because I learned from the best, my grandmother Elena. Vivian's eyes narrowed. "What is that?" "My backup plan." I unzipped the bag slowly, dramatically, letting the camera capture every moment. Inside was another dress, not as old as Elena's original, but stunning. A 1960s-style gown in champagne silk, with intricate beadwork I'd done myself over the past 3 months. "You see," I said to the camera, "my grandmother taught me something important. Always have a backup plan when dealing with jealous people." She told me stories about family members who tried to sabotage weddings, destroy heirloom pieces out of spite. So I made this dress myself, working nights after my office job, just in case. Vivian's mouth fell open. Behind her, I could hear David's voice in the hallway calling, "Maya?" Is everything okay in there? The crazy part? I continued, addressing my phone's audience, which now showed over 1,200 viewers. The dress she destroyed? That was a replica I had made by a seamstress downtown. The real 1952 dress, the actual family heirloom, is safe at home in my closet. I was never planning to wear it today. The comments went wild. Laughing emojis, fire symbols, comments like genius, and she played her. Vivian's face went from white to green. You set me up. I protected myself, I corrected. From someone who spent 8 years trying to erase me from this family. Someone who told my dad I wasn't wife material for his business parties. Someone who accidentally threw away my college acceptance letters. Someone who conveniently forgot to mention my graduation ceremony to the family. David's voice came again, closer now. Maya, the photographer wants to start pictures. One more thing, I said to the camera, my voice getting stronger. In about 10 minutes, my dad is going to walk in here and see what his wife did. And he's going to have to choose between defending this behavior or apologizing to his daughter on her wedding day. In front of 1,300 people watching live. I could hear footsteps in the hallway. Multiple voices. No, Vivian whispered, grabbing at the phone. You can't do this to me. Your father will. Well, what? Finally see who you really are. I stepped back, keeping the phone steady. Too late, Vivian. Everyone sees now. The door opened. David walked in first, handsome in his navy suit, his face lighting up when he saw me, then immediately clouding when he took in the scene. Behind him came my dad, his expression shifting from confusion to horror as he saw the destroyed dress on the floor. What happened here? Dad demanded, his voice sharp. I turned the camera toward him. Hi, Dad. Still live on Facebook. 1,400 viewers now. Want to hear Vivian's explanation? His face went rigid as he processed what I'd said. Live. Facebook. Over 1,000 people watching his family drama unfold. Vivian, he said quietly, dangerously. What did you do? Vivian tried to compose herself, smoothing her hair. It was an accident, Robert. I was trying to help with the dress and... Help, I interrupted, still recording. With fabric scissors? By cutting through the bodice and telling me David deserves better? Dad's face darkened as he looked from the ruined dress to his wife to the scissors still clutched in her hand. Around us, the wedding party stood frozen, watching his reaction. You destroyed your stepdaughter's wedding dress 4 hours before her ceremony, he said slowly, his voice carrying the tone he used in business when someone was about to be fired. It was hideous. Vivian finally snapped, her composure cracking completely. Some gaudy Mexican thing that makes us look like peasants. I won't have her embarrassing this family with her heritage nonsense. The silence was deafening. Even the comments on my phone seemed to pause. Dad stepped closer to Vivian, his voice deadly quiet. That Mexican thing was my mother-in-law's dress. Maya's grandmother, who helped raise my daughter when her mother died. Who taught her to be strong and proud of who she is. Vivian realized her mistake too late. Robert, I didn't mean. Get out. What? Get out of this venue. Get out of my daughter's wedding. Get out of my sight. I could see Vivian's panic rising. You can't be serious. I'm your wife. These people will think. These people will think I married someone who attacks children, Dad said, his voice carrying clearly to the phone's microphone. And they'll be right. I turned the camera back to myself. Well, Facebook, I said, unable to keep the satisfaction out of my voice. Looks like the wedding is back on schedule. Thank you for witnessing this moment. Sometimes family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up for you when it matters. The comments were a flood of heart emojis, congratulations, and messages of support. The viewer count had hit nearly 2,000 people. Maya, Dad said softly, approaching me. I'm so sorry. I should have seen. I should have protected you from this. I stopped recording and put my phone away. Around us, the wedding party began moving again, my bridesmaids helping me clear away the ruined replica dress. You're seeing it now, I said, hugging him. That's what matters. David stepped up, taking my hands. Are you okay? Do you want to postpone? We can. Absolutely not, I said, kissing him quickly. I've got a dress, I've got my family who actually matters, and I've got 2,000 people who just witnessed justice being served. Best wedding ever. As Vivian gathered her things and slunk toward the door, she turned back one last time. This isn't over, Maya. I smiled, pulling out my phone again. You're right. Now I document everything. And next time you try something, it won't just be Facebook watching. She left without another word. An hour later, I walked down the aisle in my champagne silk dress, my dad's arm steady under mine, 200 guests on their feet applauding. The photographer captured every moment, including the proud tears in Dad's eyes as he lifted my veil. But my favorite photo from the day? The screenshot David took of my Facebook Live video, showing 2,847 viewers and hundreds of comments supporting me. It hangs in our kitchen now, a reminder that sometimes the best revenge is simply letting people show their true colors to the world. Vivian moved out the following week. Dad filed for divorce a month later. And me? I started a blog called Backup Plans and Family Drama that now has over 50,000 followers who share their own stories of standing up to toxic family members. Because sometimes the best way to handle people who try to destroy your happiness is to show the world exactly who they are, and then wear your backup dress like a crown.